tonight. Yes, great. I'm very happy to host so many European leaders and my good colleagues in Tallinn at the first ever Digital Summit. Estonia is very proud that we are active member in EU, and we take this digital agenda summit very seriously. We are building digital society, and it has been our top priority. To build the digital society, it means that we need three very concrete things. It means the right infrastructure, the right rules, and the right attitude. I think we could see that actually the digital society is already here and work is already underway. I'm sure that our future is digital. Thank you, and I wish you a nice day today. Thank you.
Good morning. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
How was the dinner yesterday?
Good morning. Good morning. Yesterday evening we had a good and constructive debate. I will use this debate to build what I could call the leaders' agenda 2017 and 18. Of course, in consultation with all the member states. And I will present this political agenda in 2 weeks' time. In this process, I will respect, as always, 3 key principles. 1, the need to find real solutions to real problems. 2, the need to make progress step by step, issue by issue. And 3, above all, the need to keep the unity of all 27 member states. Also in the context of the new ideas, and there have been plenty. But even though some may think it is a kind of a Eurovision's contest, and perhaps it is, I'm personally convinced that together we will make good use of it. If we think we need something.
Which goals of Macron do you think are not realistic?
For now, that's all. But I will be at your disposal at our press conference just after the summit because the queue is quite long.
Who is the winner of this contest? Who is the winner?
We'll see.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. But in details it is too early to discuss because a lot of proposals without substance and definition of the name of the proposal, and everybody understands a little bit differently. So it's too early. We'll be waiting the list in 2 weeks, the list of all proposals. It's Juncker's speech, President Macron's speech, a lot of proposals, and then method, how we will work with them, and then we will see what will happen.
What do you expect for
As usual, she is stable, guarantor of results. She will manage.
Have you verified the situation on Spain?
On Spain. So, not easy, sensitive, but we wish Spain to stay strong.
Did May speak about Brexit?
Is not a word that we should be talking about today, but has Theresa May helped at all given her Florence speech?
I think yes, because at least some clarity more. Not all we wanted to listen and hear, but it's one step further. Because today we can say that negotiations are a little bit behind the schedule, and probably we are already facing necessity of transitional or additional period for Brexit, and this is the message we need to be openly acknowledging to each other that the Brexit negotiations are out of schedule.
Is there anything else that you want to see that's not quite there yet for you?
For me or for us or for Lithuania personally, we do not have some interests, individual ones. It's all European interests, and I think European nations and British interests, we need to find the joint solution good for all.
Dalia, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Financial settlements are
Giving a
the
sense
key
of,
in
you know, actually-
unlocking.
No. So it's
New conference.
Please, yes.
here, please.
Юрий,
samo reći vezano za sinoćnu večeru i čuli smo da je bio izdvojeni sastanak sa premijerkom Merkel, koji su najvažniji naglasci.
Jučerašnja večera bila je jedna otvorena rasprava u biti o sadašnjosti, a i budućnosti Europe. Imali smo nekoliko referentnih govora proteklih dana, dakle Junckerov govor u parlamentu, Theresa May u Firenci, naravno Macronov govor na Sorboni, realnost njemačkih izbora, njemačkih europskih izbora.
Some of them are very helpful, others are not. Some are a bit cagey, but I very much around. Those tracks. Yeah. And she talked to me a bit about what's going to happen. I used to be coaching just at an Irish government source. And it was asked me to take the books out.
Blue card. Morning. Good morning. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is fine.
Yes.
You did everything what we need. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Please, yes.
So,
Ναι, όχι, με φώτο τον τοίχο καλύτερα. Επειδή έχεις φέτος το πάει είναι λίγο καλύτερο. Εδώ είναι μαύρο πολύ. Δηλαδή εδώ μπροστά μας κάτσει.
Ich bin nicht sehr dafür, dass man ein Euro-Budget macht.
Monsieur Juncker, êtes-vous satisfait de la réunion de ce soir? Bonjour, et du débat. Est-ce que ça soutient un peu votre proposition face au Parlement?
Moi, j'avais l'impression que la plupart des collègues, je ne saurais pas dire qui n'étaient pas d'accord, étaient atmosphériquement sur la même ligne. Donc, j'étais très, très content du débat que nous avons eu à ça.
On peut dire que l'Europe d'avenir sera une Europe à 27.
À 27 à partir de la fin mars 2019 et avec plus que 27 dans les 5 années à venir entre 2019 et 2020.
Est-ce que M. Macron a soutenu aussi cette position?
Je ne suis pas le porte-parole du président de la République.
Dis-moi, est-ce que
Monsieur le Président, vous allez voir de la BBC, Mr. Juncker. Vous allez avoir sur la...
Aujourd'hui, et je voudrais que nous nous accordions sur un régime futur à avoir.
Can I come to the BBC? We're not about Brexit today, but are you happy so far? Is sufficient progress getting there?
By the end of October, we will not have sufficient progress.
How are you feeling today on it? We've had a big week of talks.
Yeah. At the end of this week, I'm saying that there will be no sufficient progress from now until October unless miracles would happen.
But you're known for your pinball skills. You're a pinball wizard. If Brexit was a pinball game, do you feel at the moment they're staying out of the gobble hole? It's going in the right direction.
We are making progress.
How long do you think the reform schedule will be stretched? Throughout 2020, 2024?
The reforms, you mean?
Yes. The schedule that Mr. Tusk will present. How long?
I would think that 2024 would be a good time schedule. That's exactly what I was saying in the European
A
Parliament.
final thought today. What do you want out of it, Mr. President Juncker?
I will tell you after the meeting.
Thank you for your time. How will you feel? Do you feel it's closer towards sufficient progress?
Well, I said yesterday that Theresa May in Florence gave us an outline of the legacy of the UK in the European Union. I think we should now see the progress in the negotiations. You have seen the statement of Michel Barnier. What I think is positive that she has very clearly said that the UK will honor its commitments within the current multi-annual financial framework. What we need to do is to address the sequence. First, do unfortunately what is due to be done in accordance with the Article 50, and then try to see how we can set up a new framework of relationship between the UK and the EU.
What are your concerns still, 3 weeks away from the next summit in October, where you have to decide is sufficient progress being made?
Well, you know that our position is very clear. It's the negotiations and contacts at the level of Mr. Barnier who give us a clearer impression whether the progress has been achieved or not. We very much hope that we could still advance and then conclude that there was a sufficient progress. In case that does not happen, then I guess that the next opportunity will be the European Council in December.
Final thought, are you with the Macron vision of Europe and life without the UK?
Well, I'm very sorry that there was the majority decision at the referendum to withdraw from the European Union. I think we will all regret it. Honestly, I think it was already a loose situation for, at the time, PM Cameron. I think it will be eventually a loose solution for the UK. It is indeed a loose solution for the European Union, and we will see eventually how big the lose will be globally, because leaving the champion of free trade with France, the strongest defense and security power, plus permanent member of the Security Council, it's certainly not an asset for us losing the United Kingdom. So we regret it, and it's unfortunate. But what I believe is that what Macron is trying to do is to breathe new enthusiasm despite Brexit. So we can have, I called it yesterday at the dinner, we should converge to the reasonable ambition in the light of the 2019 EP elections.
Thank you for talking to us. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Brüsselist, kes saab omakorda
Yuri. Here we are.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Prime Minister.
Thank you that you are coming. Absolutely. As agreed, Zagreb. Very good. Very good. It was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yuri, good to see you. Yeah. Okay. I was well prepared. Okay. Official. Ah, yeah. Well done.
Two nice people.
Yeah.
Please, here. Yeah.
Here.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Yes, let me. Please.
ja sellele, et nende kodutänavas tehakse mõne aasta jooksul kõrvriik, kus nad ei saa oma emakeeles rääkida või turvaliselt.
See on Hispaania riigisekretär.
Good morning.
in your cabinet, in your party, and what we increasingly hear in Europe is that they wonder whether you can actually deliver on what you promised in Florence, what you'll say at the Tory party conference. What assurances can you give that you're not still weak and wobbly?
Well, I'll come on to my Florence speech in a minute, but first of all, I'm very pleased to be here in Tallinn at what is an important digital summit, where we're going to be looking at some of the biggest challenges that are faced by governments and citizens today. And Estonia has led the way in Europe on digital issues, and I'm interested in the way in which they've created a truly digital government and society. And of course, the UK has also committed significant investment in this area. We have committed 1.9 billion pounds to defending the UK against cyber threats, deterring hostile activity, developing our cybersecurity industry, including, of course, setting up our National Cybersecurity Centre, whose CEO, Kieran Martin, is here with me today, and we'll be sharing our expertise. This is a very timely summit because increasingly we see hostile cyber activity threatening our democratic institutions, our financial systems, and our public sectors. And we need to step up our level of cooperation, and the UK will be committed to working with our European partners to use our leadership and expertise to help to develop and increase our collective cybersecurity in Europe. And on the issue of my Florence speech, I have set out in my Florence speech the progress that we've made on a number of issues and the vision that I have for the deep and special partnership that we can develop with the European Union in future. I'm pleased that the negotiations have been making progress, and I look forward to developing that deep and special partnership with the EU, because I think it's not only in the interests of the UK, it's in the interests of the EU as well.
Citizens' rights. The letter yesterday from business leaders was pretty punchy. Why will you not, right here, right now, commit to the rights of citizens, millions of them? We hear from them pretty regularly. They're very worried about their future. They have no guarantees what happens after March 2019. Why can't you give them those guarantees?
Well, we value the contribution that EU citizens from other EU countries have made in the UK, where they've made their life in the UK. I value their contribution. I want them to stay, and we've been negotiating on those citizens' rights. I also obviously want UK citizens in other European member states to have their rights guaranteed as well. In my Florence speech, I set out very clearly how we could ensure that the rights of those EU citizens were guaranteed in the UK. That has been part of the negotiations that we've had. Very good progress has been made. That was clear from the statements that both David Davis and Michel Barnier made yesterday.
But they say you're playing human poker.
I value the contribution that EU citizens have made in the United Kingdom, but I also want to see the rights of citizens from the UK who are living in other European Union countries to have their rights guaranteed as well. The negotiations are about ensuring we can give certainty and reassurance to EU citizens in the UK and to UK citizens in the other EU member states. That's what the negotiation's about. Good progress has been made on that issue. Thank you.
Yes, please, here.
Please, here.
Jag ser du koordinerar attacken.
Koordinerar attacken. Framförallt ska jag försöka instruera honom i att det finns
demonstrating that the British government is supporting the idea of developing further Europe, and I think there are some important issues and challenges ahead, but we're on a good way.
What's still left for you that you think actually isn't right yet, so you're cautious about?
No, I think we have to have the proposals on the table. I think I appreciated the speech of Mrs. May, but now a lot of work has to be done, and we have to discuss severe and tangible proposals.
Final thought, what did she say last night that impressed you? What was it that she said in the speech last night? What was it she said that impressed you?
I think that she's still willing to cooperate with Europe, and she's not leaving Europe, which she made clear again, which is good. She was leaving the European Union, but she's willing to cooperate, which is something which all of us are really appreciating.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Hallo.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, let's follow the
Nice
carpet.
weather here.
Yes, it happens sometimes.
Die ich sehr unterstütze. Ich will auch ein starkes Europa haben. Wir müssen die Konflikte, die wir haben, beiseite schieben, schauen, dass wir Lösungen produzieren, die wirklich etwas bringen. Da sind wir in den letzten Jahren vielleicht zu langsam vorangekommen. Und deshalb muss man jetzt die Methode ändern. Und das heißt, die Länder, die kooperieren wollen, die gemeinsame Steuern für digitale Konzerne wollen zum Beispiel, die eine gemeinsame Steuerbemessungsgrundlage wollen, die gemeinsam den Kampf gegen Lohn- und Sozialdumping betreiben wollen, die dürfen nicht daran gehindert werden von Ländern, die hier langsamer vorgehen wollen.
Auch eine militärische Integration, das wird doch schwierig für Österreich.
Ja, das ist ein Punkt, den ich an sich für sinnvoll erachte. Allerdings hat Österreich da seine Limitationen. Für uns gilt die Neutralität. Für uns ist klar, dass unsere Truppen wir entscheiden müssen, was die Einsatzgebiete sind. Da wird Österreich sicherlich nicht im vollen Umfang teilnehmen können.
Was erwarten Sie von Angela Merkel?
Ja, ich gehe davon aus, Angela Merkel wird in Kontinuität die Rolle spielen, die sie gespielt hat. Ich denke, dass da die deutschen Wahlen einen gewissen Einfluss haben werden. Und ich bin davon überzeugt, dass sie dasselbe Bewusstsein hat, dass wir jetzt entschlossenere Schritte brauchen. Ich denke, eine weitere Debatte über 18 Monate, wo wir viel Zeit verlieren, keine Lösungen präsentieren können, würde die Frustration in Europa erhöhen. Das will keiner.
Préparer un texte avec une analyse des différentes propositions qui ont été faites par les différentes personnes pour avancer. Je pense que c'est important, donc c'était très très positif. Je vous remercie. C'est sur la
Just give me a date.
So let's follow the carpet.
Let's follow the carpet.
I'm sure they
Annars kommer vi inte åt dig.
Nej.
Vi börjar. Ja. Berätta, hur var mötet igår? Konkret, det bästa som hände.
Vi har en diskussion, en fortsättning på Bratislava-processen. Men nu när till exempel då Juncker har hållit sitt State of the Union-tal, Macron har haft ett tal, premiärminister i Portugal Costa har också haft ett tal om Europa, så är det att samla ihop och se vad blir det. Och mitt tydliga budskap, det var just detta.
Ihr seid ja.
quick question. I know today isn't about...
Domnule președinte, puteți să ne dați câteva detalii despre discuția informală de aseară și despre
Rafael cu picioarele Dimitrie Artomen din DSL
președintelui Macron, în care înțeleg că s-a discutat?
Da, cu mare plăcere. Aseară, cum am spus adineauri și luxemburghezilor, a fost una din cele mai bune discuții la care am participat. O discuție într-o atmosferă de optimism. Este prima dată când, într-adevăr, simțim optimism. Iar acest optimism s-a simțit și în discursul președintelui Comisiei, domnul Juncker, în fața Parlamentului și în discursul președintelui Macron de la Universitate acum câteva zile și alții care au avut intervenții. Inclusiv abordarea mea de aseară a fost pe o notă optimistă. Cred că este foarte realist să credem că acest proces de reflexie pentru viitorul Uniunii este acum realmente pornit. Apar idei, chiar multe idei orientate spre viitor. Deci în loc să ne concentrăm pe linii roșii, ne concentrăm pe orizonturi, cum a spus președintele Juncker. Abordarea mea și aseară și o să continui în această linie a fost să încercăm să aducem Uniunea mai aproape de cetățeni. Oricum am început să ne pregătim pentru alegerile europene, este clar că una din metodele cele mai la îndemână este să ne gândim să găsim poziții sau liste europene pentru a-l face pe cetățeanul european să voteze ceva european autentic și în acest fel.
So, we are going to follow the pattern.
Kommunikationsudfordringen stadig.
Handshake is in sight.
Hello. What are you going to be saying to your fellow leaders about digital taxation? And specifically, how does Ireland defend not taxing companies where they're making money instead of notional headquarters?
Well, first of all, really delighted to be here at the Digital Summit. The purpose of the summit is to discuss ways in which we can make Europe and the European Union leaders in the digital economy, and that's the real focus of this summit. We discussed briefly the whole issue of digital taxation last night over dinner, and the point that I made to other European leaders was that if we want to foster innovation, if we want Europe to become a digital leader, the solution isn't more taxes and more regulation, it's actually the opposite. And people bemoan the fact that there is no European Google, that there is no European Facebook, that there is no European LinkedIn. But my view is that if you want those things in Europe, and if you want those types of companies to generate in Europe, it's not through heavy taxes and higher regulation that you'll achieve that.
Are you not concerned that Ireland is going to be somewhat outnumbered, Taoiseach, given the weight that is being put behind this now by big countries like France, Germany, Italy and Spain?
Well, look, I think we'll have to see. There are a number of countries that are supporting this proposal, but there are lots of other countries, countries very similar to Ireland, who would have a different view. Certainly some of the Nordic countries, the Benelux countries, have a very similar economy to Ireland, open to trade, already very modern and very digital. And I guess we may see things a bit differently.
On the question of Ryanair, Taoiseach, do you think the Irish Civil Aviation Authorities should be getting tough on Ryanair in the same way that the British authorities seem to be really holding them to account for the way they've treated passengers in the next few months?
Well, as I understand it, in Ireland that role falls to the Commission for Aviation Regulation rather than the Irish Aviation Authority. I think it's as simple as this. People's and passengers' rights need to be protected. So if anyone has had a flight cancelled, any airline, in this case Ryanair, needs to provide them with an alternative way of getting to where they need to go or refunding them in full. And I'd absolutely expect the airlines to do that. And if they don't do that, I'd expect the Commission for Aviation Regulation to make sure they do.
Taoiseach, are you encouraged by the more positive noises coming out of the Brexit talks in recent days? And secondly, you mentioned that you would be discussing Mercosur with Jean-Claude Juncker? Has he done so, and what has he said? And on a domestic matter, the Irish Independent reports this morning that there's that up to 400 post offices face the prospect of closure. Is that good enough for Ireland, given what your government has promised to deliver?
Yeah, I think I think on Brexit there's definitely a better vibe and a better mood coming out of the negotiations between Michel Barnier and David Davis. But I think it's still very evident that there's more work to be done. We're not yet at the stage that we can say that sufficient progress has been made to allow us to talk about the new relationship in trade, and I don't think we'll be able to make that call until much later in the month. Sorry, second question?
Mercosur, did you get a chance to raise that?
I haven't had a chance to speak to President Juncker about Mercosur yet, but I've arranged to do so today. I'm somebody who believes in free trade. I'm head of a government and a country that's been hugely successful because of free trade, so I'd like to see a trade deal done with Mercosur, with Latin America, just as we have a very successful one now in Canada. So my view is that free trade makes everyone better off, but it's not an absolute thing, and we do need to take particular care around the beef industry, which will be very exposed, or may become very exposed, depending on the type of Brexit that occurs. I also want to make sure that there's no diminution of animal health standards and animal welfare standards, and that our farmers can compete on a level playing field. So when I speak to President Juncker, I'll certainly be making those points to him and saying that I'm very much in favour of a deal with Mercosur on free trade, but I'd like to see standards protected and our beef farmers protected as well. On the post offices, I've seen reports of hundreds of post offices earmarked for closure. I'm not aware of that plan. If it is a plan, it's certainly not a government-backed plan. Having said that, though, the number of post offices has been reducing down the years. The network is being rationalised quite simply because fewer people are sending letters. The number of mail volume is going down because people in urban and rural areas are sending fewer letters, and fewer people are using post offices because more and more services are now going online. So ultimately, the best way for people to protect their local post office is to actually use it. But certainly there's no plan that I'm aware of to affect closures on that scale.
What do you say to people who say that the reopening, the step aside, is a classic piece of stroke politics?
Look, anyone who reads the programme for government will see that there was negotiated and contained in that programme for government a commitment to open 6 new Garda stations on a pilot basis. Those 6 have been identified and they're going to be opened. The step aside is not yet opened, but it will be.
In relation to the step aside, should the Department of Justice publish the report that decided that recommended the step aside?
I've no objection to being published. I haven't actually seen it myself, or don't recall seeing it if I did. So I don't see any reason why it couldn't be published, but that they may have a good reason not to do so. But as I said, what's in the programme for government is a commitment that we would reopen 6 Garda stations on a pilot basis. The Gardaí did a report, suggested 6. None of them are open yet, but they will be. One of them is step aside.
Taoiseach, on the free trade question, do you think the Bombardier case is a salutary lesson for the vulnerability of the UK outside of the EU, and by extension the vulnerability of Northern Ireland?
I think it could well turn out to be a lesson for the United Kingdom. When the Brexit referendum went through, and certainly in the months since then, there's been a lot of talk about a new trade deal between the United Kingdom and the United States, and how great that would be for the United Kingdom. And yet we're now talking about the possibility of a trade war between the United Kingdom and the United States. So I think what it demonstrates is that every country in Europe is actually a small country. Britain isn't even in the top 20 countries in the world in terms of population. Germany is 18th, and we're actually stronger together as a trading bloc of 500. So I think perhaps that's something for people to consider. All right, thank you.
Concerned at the prospect of a strike at Irish Rail?
You're right, what time? In the midnight?
Yeah, after midnight.
I see.
Anyway, it was really, I was briefed on it. It was very good.
And once more, congratulations. The best country in European basketball level.
Thank you.
The United Kingdom is now looking for a transition phase during which the European rules will essentially still apply. I think that's very welcome. I don't think we're yet at the point that we can say that sufficient progress has been made. There's more talks to happen. Obviously, as a European Prime Minister, we'll have to see the report from Michel Barnier, we'll have to see the report from the European Parliament, so we're not at the point yet where we can get on to talking about the future relationship, but I think the mood music is better.
And if you had to boil it down, what is it now that you think is the key point, or are the key points, money, on the issue of the Irish border, that you think actually would take it over that line to the next stage?
Yeah, you'll understand why I'll be reluctant to engage in a running commentary of the negotiations. I think in all those three areas further progress is needed, both on the financial settlement, on citizens' rights, which are so important. You know, I want to see the rights of British citizens in the rest of the European Union protected. I want to see EU citizens in Britain protected, and also those very particular and important issues to Ireland. You know, we have peace on our island now. We have an integrated economy north and south. I wouldn't like to see Brexit undermine that in any way.
A final thought while you're here, which is Emmanuel Macron. Okay, thank you, Prime Minister.
Not the last time, eh?
No. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Morning, good to see you again.
The same, please.
Same procedures.
How are you?
Yes.
I saw you some of your troops today morning.
No, you did, yeah, we were home and yeah, they invited me, but I think we just have 4 officers there, so we prefer to come this spring with you. But I wear this one, do you have this one? Huh? Yes, you must be. Thank you. Morning. No se puede no respetar la posición de España. Es un país miembro y intentar de buscar una solución política es otra cosa, pero no se puede no respetar la posición de España. Esas son reglas europeas. Respetar las reglas, respetar la Constitución española y después empezar un diálogo. Madrid-Barcelona, soluciones políticas.
¿Piensa usted que esta es la vía en la que...
No, Rajoy no está hoy.
Ya sé que no está, pero ha hablado usted con él por teléfono.
No. Está, nosotros no es nuestro trabajo. Se nos pide a nivel jurídico. Madrid tiene razón, pero yo creo que es importante también intentar de hablar a nivel político después el lunes y respetar las leyes y después las leyes de Cataluña y la ley de España.
¿Y podrían hacer alguna mediación de alguna forma?
Yo creo que es un problema de España, no es un problema donde nosotros podemos hacer cosas de eso. problema de respetar las reglas españolas, un diálogo al interior de España.
¿Teme que haya problemas el domingo? ¿Teme usted que pueda haber violencia?
Esperamos que no, violencia esperamos que no. De las reglas hay un debate político y política no puede ser violenta.
President Tajani, can you describe the atmosphere at the dinner yesterday?
We need good answers for our citizens. Our goal is to protect European citizens, good reforms, with good political choice in favor of European citizens.
What about the current budget?
We need reform also. There is the parliament. The Eurozone is the European Parliament. I am against the new parliament. I think we need to work together with the banking union. It's good. Union. And I am in favor of the minister, also the parliament position. Because Presso is the first position, the first proposal for the union. I think it's possible to achieve this goal. We need to work, but before the reforms, it's possible also to have good political choice, because the most important point are terrorism, illegal immigration, and youth unemployment. We need to work in this against these problems. We need to solve these problems and to have good answer for the European citizens. Also, we need a budget, the next budget, as a political budget with the priorities. Probably we will have less money because the UK will be outside the European Union. But we need to achieve the most important goal.
Any fears that Germany might not as stable after the elections as in the past?
I think Germany is one of the most important countries in Europe. The stability of Germany is very important. Merkel is a guarantee for the stability. Now this is an internal problem for Germany. The majority in the Bundestag. I think to have a Schäuble as leader of the Bundestag is a good choice, because the Bundestag is very important for the stability inside the German state. But we are optimistic. I think Germany will have a good government, able for working with other countries for the reforms, with the European Parliament, with the other European institutions. Okay, thank you.
Monsieur le Président.
Bonjour.
De la zone euro, qui est une proposition qui est extrêmement sensible en Europe.
Mais je pense que M. Macron a ouvert un débat, je l'ai rencontré il y a quelques jours à Paris, nous avons discuté sur les propositions françaises. On a écouté hier aussi une très intéressante intervention de M. Macron. Et je partage plusieurs choses, je ne suis pas d'accord sur un Parlement zone euro, parce qu'il y a déjà le Parlement européen qui est le Parlement de la zone euro, mais je suis favorable. Il y a aussi un document du Parlement européen sur les réformes où il y a aussi un seul ministre de l'économie pour l'Union européenne, pour la zone euro. Je suis favorable, je pense qu'il doit être un commissaire sous le contrôle du Parlement européen, mais dans le même temps, il faut faire aussi des réformes pour avoir aussi une harmonisation fiscale, parce que nous ne pouvons pas avoir, par exemple, une plateforme comme Google qui travaille dans une mauvaise direction. Donc c'est vraiment dangereux pour l'économie, pour notre pays.
Sur un budget de la zone euro, tourner plutôt vers l'investissement que vers les dettes?
Il faut faire des investissements, il faut travailler pour la croissance, il faut avoir des investissements. Donc, il faut avoir un plan Juncker plus fort de celui d'aujourd'hui. Bon travail à vous tous.
A quick word with the BBC. Molto gentile, thank you. Gavin.
Very good Italian.
Thank you, grazie. Tell me, we're not talking Brexit, the B word was banned yesterday. Do you feel, though, you're a bit happier with the British? Has it upped his game a bit towards that sufficient progress button in 3 weeks' time?
I think the speech in Florence of Mrs. May was a good speech, more open than in the past. But we want to know the content of the UK proposal. Good meeting with Mr. David Davids 2 days ago in Brussels. we will have a vote in the European Parliament after the debate next week in Strasbourg with a resolution of the European Parliament. There is a majority. We will underline on the three most important: the citizens' rights, the European citizen living in the UK, the British citizen living in Europe. The border between North Ireland and Irish Republic is a very delicate situation. We want to work for peace, but also we want to work for the health of the European citizen. We need to control the products coming from outside in the next years, animals, agri-food, because there are in Europe very strong rules for citizen health. Also, we need to strengthen our agriculture and our agri-food sector. The third point is the money. We want our money back, but not euro more, but not euro less. I think this is important. I will work for a good agreement with the UK. It's important to have a framework on the three most important points with an agreement, and then it's possible to start with the negotiation for the future relations between the European Union and the UK.
A final point, which is this. If I talk to you in 3 weeks' time and I say to you, President Tajani, were you happy with that deal to get through to the next round? Are you going to say you feel like actually it's likely, or are you going to say it wasn't likely? Where are you? Let's fast forward 3 weeks. Do you think it's going to happen? In the summit in Brussels?
No, I am very pragmatic. For this, we need to work with the British. We are supporting our negotiator, Mr. Barnier. We are all together behind Barnier, the member states and European institutions. We want to achieve good agreement. We are not against the UK. We need to work also after divorce with the UK against terrorism. On this, also yesterday, Mrs. May was very clear. We want to work on the defense sector, because a lot of European member states are members of NATO as the UK, and this is important, but it's not the same to be member of the European Union and to be outside. Also in the transition period, it's possible to do it because it's inside our document, but the transition period is a transition period. We need to have the same situation of today. Not only the internal market. Transition period is to have the same situation for the next 2 years. But this way, we are very clear. I want to be very concrete. It's possible to achieve an agreement if there is a good cooperation. Okay, the good message from Florence. Now we want to know the content. Okay, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
Το 2019 είναι θετικό γεγονός. Επίσης, θετικό γεγονός είναι ότι όλοι πια αντιλαμβάνονται την ανάγκη η Ευρώπη να αποκτήσει ισχυρό θεσμικό πλαίσιο ώστε να μπορεί να στηθεί στα δικά της πόδια. Μου έκανε εντύπωση ότι ακόμα και εκπρόσωποι χωρών που θεωρούσαν αδιανόητο να μπορεί να υπάρξει ένα πρόγραμμα στήριξης στην Ευρώπη χωρίς την παρουσία του Διεθνούς Νομισματικού Ταμείου, χθες μιλούσαν με αυτοπεποίθηση για την ανάγκη η Ευρώπη να δημιουργήσει τους δικούς της θεσμούς, ώστε να μην είναι αναγκαία η πρόσβαση, αναγκαία ξένων. Διαδικασία διαλόγου που πιστεύω ότι δεν θα μείνει μόνο στο διάλογο, αλλά θα υπάρξουν και αποτελέσματα. Σήμερα όμως επίσης συζητάμε για το μέλλον της Ευρώπης, διότι η συζήτηση για την ψηφιακή οικονομία, για τις νέες τεχνολογίες είναι το μέλλον. Και πιστεύω ότι η δυνατότητα πρόσβασης όλων των πολιτών στην ψηφιακή εποχή, η δυνατότητα πρόσβασης στις νέες τεχνολογίες, στη τελική ανάλυση δεν είναι μόνο ένα ζήτημα προόδου, αλλά είναι ζήτημα δημοκρατίας και ισότητας. Η κυβέρνησή μας έχει κάνει πολύ σημαντικά βήματα για να καλύψει το μεγάλο κενό, διότι η αλήθεια είναι ότι οι προηγούμενες κυβερνήσεις δεν ασχολήθηκαν σοβαρά με τις νέες τεχνολογίες και την αναγκαιότητα με γοργά βήματα να μπούμε στην ψηφιακή εποχή. Εμείς όχι μόνο δημιουργήσαμε Υπουργείο ξεχωριστό, αλλά έχουμε ρίξει όλο το βάρος ώστε οι διαθέσιμοι πόροι να μην πάνε χαμένοι, διότι χάθηκαν δυστυχώς δισεκατομμύρια ευρώ από κοινοτικούς πόρους χωρίς να δημιουργηθούν υποδομές. Τρέχουμε με ταχύτητα για να καλύψουμε την απόσταση Και πιστεύουμε ότι ο στόχος μας, αυτό που λέει το σύνθημα να φέρουμε το αύριο σήμερα για όλους τους πολίτες, είναι ένας στόχος που μπορούμε να τον πετύχουμε και θα είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό για τη χώρα αλλά και για όλους τους πολίτες να μπορέσουμε να καλύψουμε την απόσταση και είμαι αισιόδοξος θα το καταφέρουμε.
Με αλλαγή της συνθήκης ή χωρίς, θα χρειαστεί αλλαγή της συνθήκης για να έρθουν οι μεταρρυθμίσεις ή μπορούμε να τα καταφέρουμε και χωρίς?
Νομίζω ότι μπορούμε να βρούμε λύσεις για σημαντικές θεσμικές τομές μέσα στο πλαίσιο των συνθήκων. Άλλωστε, όταν ανοίγουμε το παράθυρο σε περισσότερο δημοκρατικό έλεγχο, είμαστε ταυτόσιμοι με το πνεύμα των συνθήκων, δεν αντιβαίνουμε το πνεύμα των συνθήκων. Όταν περιορίζουμε τις αποφάσεις πίσω από κλειστές πόρτες, πιστεύω ότι αντιβαίνουμε στο πνεύμα των συνθήκων, οπότε πιστεύω ότι μπορούμε να βρούμε λύσεις μέσα στο θεσμικό πλαίσιο που έχουμε.
Μια τελευταία ερώτηση σε σχέση με το Brexit. Πιστεύετε ότι θα έχουμε αποτελεσματική πρόοδο τις επόμενες εβδομάδες, θα πάμε στην επόμενη φάση ή όχι?
Κοιτάξτε, αυτό είναι ένα θέμα το οποίο θα μας απασχολήσει ιδιαίτερα το επόμενο διάστημα. Οι διαπραγματεύσεις θα είναι ουσιαστικές και εντατικές. Πιστεύω ότι θα μπορέσουμε να βρούμε την καλύτερη δυνατή τομή για όλες τις πλευρές.
Oui, on fait une militaire. Et puis c'est le président qui vous fera son speech. Ensuite, vous allez avoir un Finlandais spécialiste de cyberdéfense.
Bonjour. Je me félicite d'abord d'être ici à Tallinn et très heureux de pouvoir participer à ce sommet durant lequel nous allons évoquer tous les enjeux du numérique pour notre Union européenne et le projet européen. Et la journée va nous permettre d'avancer de manière concrète sur plusieurs de ces thématiques, reclarifier l'agenda. C'est un des sujets sur lesquels j'ai insisté, comme vous le savez, en début de semaine. La discussion d'hier soir, comme les échanges bilatéraux que j'ai pu avoir, sont à mes yeux très fructueux et montrent la prise de conscience collective d'un sursaut indispensable en Europe, d'une nouvelle méthode à mettre en œuvre. Et c'est dans les prochaines semaines le président Tusk qui reviendra vers nous avec justement la mise en œuvre concrète et un projet que nous allons poursuivre. Mais je crois qu'aujourd'hui nous sommes tous et toutes convaincus que l'Europe doit avancer plus vite, plus fort, pour plus de souveraineté, plus d'unité et plus de démocratie.
Est-ce qu'il y a des réticences de chef d'État hier?
Je ne ferai pas d'autres commentaires, je peux vous dire qu'il y a en tout cas un consensus commun pour avancer.
Y compris sur le budget de la zone euro, Monsieur le Président.
Monsieur le Président, s'il vous plaît.
I value the contributions EU citizens have made in the United Kingdom. I also want to see their rights guaranteed as well. Negotiations about ensuring
Please, welcome.
It's okay. Thank you.
topics will be about bringing our 4 freedoms also to the digital world, so that our people in Europe can exercise their 4 freedoms freely and borderless also in the digital world.
So you won't talk about the new wars like yesterday?
We want to talk about the borderless digital environment for Europe.
And nothing else?
Spain is not clear today at the world the situation in Spain.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Yes, please.
Good to see you. Yes, maybe it's
against science.
show them Hello. It was good. I think
today, and we share our expertise. This is a very timely summit because increasingly we see hostile cyber activity.
next 12 to 18 months about external data migration, defense,
cooperation with the UK.
big proposal on the table from France, Commission, Prime Minister, the Netherlands, the whole package. Proposal on the table a couple of months ago, so a lot to discuss. Well, what we will do over the next 2 weeks is consult with colleagues at the 28th, the European level, how to scope this debate, how to implementing the one ahead, thinking about the next steps. Whilst at the same time,
Δημήτρη, αυτός που είναι δεξιά, σου σηκώστε για ένα δευτερόλεπτο να χαμηλώσει την αμφάνεια του πρόεδρου. Μην πέταξα τίποτα. Όχι, για να τον έχω λίγο περπατιστό για ένα δευτερόλεπτο, μην βγει τελείως, θα σκύβει πολύ.
Mitä me päättäjinä voidaan tehdä sen eteen, että Eurooppa on johtava alue digitalisoinnin hyödyntämisessä. Isäntämaa Viro on näyttänyt hyvää esimerkkiä kyllä ottamalla
higher level of competitivity, of economic success. National level to live up to the common commitments, for example, in and growth pact. And then the question is, what can we do collectively to support
nii ja näed, et vaadake selline hetk on, et Briti peaminister annab intervjuuga meie Eesti presidendi just sama hetkel
Suurepärane kleit! Tuleeko teidän mielestä erityisesti mitään digitalisointia?
No, minusta meidän pitää keskittyä siihen, että mitä me päättäjinä voidaan tehdä sen eteen, että Eurooppa on johtava alue digitalisoinnin hyödyntämisessä. Ja siinä mielessä tämä meidän isäntämaa Viro on näyttänyt hyvää esimerkkiä kyllä muille ottamalla esimerkiksi e-hallintoa ensimmäisenä Euroopassa käyttöön. Ja Suomella ja Virolla on erittäin hyvä yhteistyö, vaihdetaan tietoa, meillä on tämä yhteinen X-Road tässä välissä. Nyt meidän pitäisi saada vastaavaa kehitystä koko Euroopan unionin alueella. Let's see, I think that we have already a vision process which started from Bratislava and we finished in Rome. I think that this is a valid vision for us, and now we need a better implementation for doing it in practice.
Gavin Lee at the BBC, nice to meet you. Can you tell me, it's not about Brexit today, but are you closer to ticking that sufficient progress box when it comes to Brexit and 3 weeks? Is there, as you see it, getting closer towards sufficient progress?
I think that we are now closer, and there has been some progress also in negotiations, but we stay united in our negotiations, and Commission will lead the negotiation from our side.
Is there anything else you still want to see that you believe there's still a gap on?
Yeah, we have to agree on the money, we have to agree on the citizens, and some border issues before we can go to the future relationship.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
We have to hear.
Thanks. Bye.
Se on Puola.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Everything's okay?
Hi. Hi, how are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Great yesterday.
Really appreciated.
What, that's an old power plant?
Old power plant.
It's an old power plant.
Yes. No, it's kind of a power plant.
Yeah. I love power plants. I was working for the energy industry. Yeah. Thanks, Yuri. Hello.
Beautiful. It happened once in a lifetime. So.
Yuri, how do you do? It's nice to see you.
Premier, s'il vous plaît. Premier ministre, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
Világsajtó? Jó, a magyar világsajtó. Jó napot, hogy vannak? Köszönjük jól, miniszterelnök úr. Túl van már egy informális csúcson és egy véni egyeztetésen. Mi Magyarország és a visegrádi országok álláspontja a reformelképzelésekről? Messze vagyunk még attól, hogy reformelképzelésekről lehessen beszélni. Inkább azt mondanám, hogy van egy szándék, hogy Európát újra versenyképessé tegyük, és ez különböző javaslatokba ölt testet. Tegnap többet is megismerhettünk, hiszen nem csak a francia elnöknek volt javaslata, a portugál miniszterelnök is tett javaslatot,
maga Jean-Claude Juncker, a bizottság elnöke is tett javaslatokat, tehát egyre sok javaslat van az asztalon. Ezeknek az összerendezését vállalta a tanácsnak az elnöke, Donald Tusk, és 2 hét múlva lesz valami kerete a jövőről való gondolkodásnak, úgyhogy nem eszik olyan forrónak ását.
Miniszterelnök úr, a csúcstalálkozón volt-e lehetősége kétoldalú egyeztetésekre, például a holland miniszterelnökkel tudott tárgyalni?
Igen, beszéltem vele, le is zártuk a 2 ország közötti konfliktust, kedveljük egymást tulajdonképpen, és egyetértünk nagyon sok kérdésben.
Akkor a nagykövet visszatérhet Hágába?
Igen.
Végül az uniós csúcsnak a középpontjában most a digitalizáció áll. Magyarország milyen javaslatokkal érkezett erre a találkozóra?
Az igazság az, hogy eddig mi azt gondoltuk, hogy nem közös javaslatokat kell tenni, hanem el kell végezni a házi feladatot. Most, ahol vagyunk, itt Észtországban, azért ők a legjobbak, ezt be kell vallani, jobbak, mint mi vagyunk, de mi nekünk sem kell szégyenkezni, mert ott vagyunk valahol a nyomukba, tehát Európában valószínűleg nálunk lesz legelőször minden lakásban, minden háztartásban elérhető szélessávú internetszolgáltatás, a teljesítményének folyamatosan nőni fog, az 5G-s rendszer kiépítése zajlik, tehát azt gondolom, hogy Magyarország az élbolyban van, mert mi eddig nemzeti erőforrásokból fejlesztettük ezt az iparágat. Itt lehetnek javaslatok arra nézve, ezt egyébként Dajs Tamás is szorgalmazza, mint a digitális jóléti program magyarországi gazdája, hogy legyen közös uniós politika, esetleg közös pénzügyi alapokkal, ez szolgálna Magyarország érdekében.
Miniszterelnök úr, ha már kétoldalú találkozott, volt alkalma tegnap beszélni, vagy Jean-Claude Juncker kezdeményezett önnel beszélgetést, esetleg korábban volt arról szó, hogy lesz egy rövid találkozójuk a menekültpolitika ügyében?
Majd lesz valamikor a V4-eknek Juncker elnök úrral egy találkozója, ez valamikor október vége fele, novemberben várható.
És még egy kérdés.
De mindig beszélünk egyébként egymással, mert egy olyan hely, ahol az emberek beszélgetnek egymással.
Még egy kérdés, az őcsényi események kapcsán nem gondolja, hogy mekkora felelősséget lát a kormány részéről abban, hogy az idegen gyűlölet, lehet így mondani, így megerősödött, hogy már igazán rászoruló egyébként menekülő gyerekek befogadása is ilyen indulatokat látott ki ott a Kistalna megyei faluban?
Semmi kivetni nem látok, kivetni valót nem találtam én ebbe. Hát nem akarnak az emberek migránsokat befogadni, nem akarnak az országba és nem akarnak a falujukba. És annyit hazudtak már nekik migránsügyben, nem hiszik el, hogy csak gyerekek fognak jönni. A magyar ember szereti a gyerekeket, meg egyébként is az elesetteket mindig szívesen segíti. De annyit hazudoztak migránsügyben, hogy azt mondják, hogy gyerekek fognak jönni, arra azt mondja a magyar, először a gyerekek, aztán a szülők.
How you doing? Fine. Good. Fine. Very nice place. I saw you came very long interview. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Here, please.
Yes, please, here.
Sure, and also I know that it will be nice. Oh, very nice. Big time.
But I forgot.
Fine, good.
Okay, but it was not a problem. Okay, yes, we had a lot of food. We had we had very good discussions.
Look here.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Yeah. Here.
No, they closed the bar, so we just had one room. It was very nice. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Fleetwood?
Good morning, Vera. Good morning. Please, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Sorry for
You're right, what time? In the midnight?
Yeah, after midnight.
I see.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Questa opportunità deve essere una risposta ambiziosa, come del resto ha detto anche il Presidente della Commissione Juncker nel suo discorso sullo Stato dell'Unione. E oggi quindi è il momento in cui le diverse possibili politiche europee devono darsi uno scatto di ambizione. Ieri abbiamo dato incarico al Presidente Tusk di riassumere, se si vuole, le diverse proposte che sono emerse dal discorso di Juncker, dalle proposte francesi, da quelle di altri paesi, e sono abbastanza convinto che da questo possano venire dei passi in avanti. Quello che interessa a noi naturalmente è che le proposte ambiziose dell'Unione lo siano soprattutto su due questioni: da un lato politiche della sicurezza e gestione dei flussi migratori, rapporti con l'Africa, investimenti in Africa. Sarà uno dei punti all'ordine del giorno del prossimo Consiglio europeo, ma qui è uno dei punti su cui si misura uno scatto di ambizione dell'Unione. E l'altro, e non sarà facile, sarà una discussione da portare avanti nei prossimi mesi, è quello di una integrazione maggiore sul piano economico, bilancio comune, evoluzione del fondo europeo. Naturalmente quello che interessa a noi è che tutte queste proposte di architettura sulla economia europea abbiano un'ispirazione di fondo. L'ispirazione di fondo deve essere il rilancio di politiche di espansione e di crescita. Non ci interessa tanto la discussione sui modelli, ci interessa che l'Unione prenda atto del fatto che siamo in un diverso contesto che vede migliori numeri di crescita e quindi che deve incoraggiare politiche espansive. Da ultimo vorrei sottolineare che il tema
Antes era difícil.
Yo no sé, yo no soy español, hablo español, pero no sé español.
E credo che debbano arrivare due messaggi. Il primo è che serve il digitale per la competitività delle imprese e per facilitare la vita ai nostri concittadini. E il secondo è che siccome l'Europa poi ha a che fare con giganti che nella gran parte non sono giganti europei in tutta l'industria digitale, deve porsi molto seriamente, e qui c'è una proposta rilevante che è venuta da Italia, Francia, Spagna e Germania, il problema di una armonizzazione, di una tassazione equa su questi giganti digitali che non hanno fabbriche o decine di migliaia di dipendenti come i giganti di una volta e che però hanno dei volumi d'affari nei nostri paesi straordinari. E quindi su queste proposte che in gergo si definiscono di web tax anche oggi discuteremo.
Senta, l'incontro con la Merkel ha creato qualche preoccupazione nella prospettiva di un governo che possa avere dentro i liberali, che sono notoriamente un po' più rigidi nel controllo dei conti pubblici?
Ma certo, credo che l'incontro che abbiamo avuto a Lione con il Presidente Macron e quello di stamattina con la Cancelliera Merkel ci dicano innanzitutto che Francia, Germania e Italia cercano di lavorare insieme per cercare di contribuire a dare un po' di binari a questa discussione, che è una discussione molto interessante, molto ambiziosa, che però deve vedere da parte dei maggiori paesi un contributo, diciamo così, di orientamento molto rilevante. La Germania, come d'abitudine, avrà una non breve fase di discussione per quello che loro definiscono il loro contratto di governo. Come sapete partirà soprattutto dalla seconda metà di ottobre. Credo che sia giusto che questa discussione europea in qualche modo si intrecci anche con la discussione che si sta facendo in Germania, nel totale rispetto, ci mancherebbe, dell'autonomia delle forze politiche che al Bundestag devono creare una maggioranza, ma non c'è mai stata, credo, una fase come questa in cui le questioni del futuro dell'Europa influenzano la discussione interna di ciascuno dei nostri paesi, che siano le migrazioni o le questioni economiche, e quindi certamente influenzeranno anche la dinamica della discussione per fare un governo in Germania, e io mi auguro che il governo che si verrà costituito in Germania contribuisca a questa spinta che oggi è necessaria per politiche di crescita, politiche di espansione, politiche di lavoro. Con la cancelliera il livello di collaborazione è come sempre molto positivo.
Plan Juncker plus fort de on travaille. We have to make great decisions. The climate was good, but we have to move forward quicker.
Prime Minister, do you think you will be sad to see Finance Minister Schäuble go? After all, it might become worse with his successor.
This is an internal issue of the German political system. I believe that this is a matter of democracy. People have to decide for their future. I believe that we're wiser after these difficult days. In the past, we had two difficult, huge crises: the financial and the refugee crisis, and at the same time, huge challenges, security. So I think that we're wiser and more decisive to go on together and to tackle challenges for our common future. And this means that we have to focus on the issue of democracy. There is a lack of democracy, and we have to enhance and to deepen our integration. But at the same time, we have to keep our sovereignty. So it's a very interesting discussion, and we decided yesterday to continue. But also today we're discussing about the future of Europe, because new technologies, digital technologies, is the future of Europe. I believe that new technologies can make public administration more efficient and more friendly to the citizens. Economies more productive, and societies fairer. So it's the capacity, the possibility for our people to have an access, the right to access to the new technologies is not only a matter of progress.
So your article in a very relevant Italian newspaper this month.
I see. Thank you that you're coming for the dinner. Thank you. We are all together behind.
the UK, this is important, but it's not the same. Also the position is the δυσκολίες που έχει σπίσει να ξεπεράσουν we need to have the same situation of today, not only. Επίσης θετικό γεγονός είναι ότι όλοι πια αντιλαμβάνονται την ανάγκη η Ευρώπη να αποκτήσει ισχυρό θεσμικό πλαίσιο ώστε να μπορεί να στηθεί στα δικά της πόδια. Μου έκανε εντύπωση ότι ακόμα και εκπρόσωποι χωρών που θεωρούσαν αδιανόητο να μπορεί να υπάρξει ένα πρόγραμμα στήριξης στην Ευρώπη χωρίς την παρουσία του Διεθνούς Νομισματικού Ταμείου, χθες μιλούσαν με αυτοπεποίθηση για την ανάγκη η Ευρώπη να δημιουργήσει τους δικούς της ανάλογους θεσμούς, ώστε να μην είναι αναγκαία η πρόσβαση, αναγκαία η πρόσκληση ξένων θεσμών για να στηρίξουν τις δικές μας ανάγκες. Αν η Ευρώπη θέλει να παίξει έναν νέο παγκόσμιο ρόλο ισχυρό, δεν μπορεί παρά να είναι ικανή να λύνει τα δικά της προβλήματα μόνη της. Από εκεί και πέρα αποφασίσαμε μια διαδικασία διαλόγου που πιστεύω ότι δεν θα μείνει μόνο στο διάλογο, αλλά θα υπάρξουν και αποτελέσματα. Σήμερα όμως επίσης συζητάμε για το μέλλον της Ευρώπης, διότι η συζήτηση για την ψηφιακή οικονομία, για τις νέες τεχνολογίες είναι το μέλλον. Και πιστεύω ότι η δυνατότητα πρόσβασης όλων των πολιτών στην ψηφιακή εποχή, η δυνατότητα πρόσβασης στις νέες τεχνολογίες, στη τελική ανάλυση δεν είναι μόνο ένα ζήτημα προόδου, αλλά είναι ζήτημα δημοκρατίας και ισότητας. Η κυβέρνησή μας έχει κάνει πολύ σημαντικά βήματα για να καλύψει το μεγάλο κενό, διότι η αλήθεια είναι ότι οι προηγούμενες